Dear students, today we are going to study short story elements. As usual, I'm Manusha Tennakon. If you haven't yet subscribed my YouTube channel, please subscribe it for more educational videos like this. Content of today's presentation. Number 1, what is a short story? Number 2, what are the elements of a short story? Number 3, plot. Number 4, setting. Number 5, characters. Number 6, theme. Short story is a very common genre of fiction which is very familiar to all of us. When the attention is paid to the definitions of short story, there are very beautiful artistic definitions and general definitions. Here in this slide, I have taken two such artistic definitions and one general definition. Number 1. A short story is a slice of life. According to this definition, each short story reveals an aspect of life, not the whole life. Second definition, a short story is like a dewdrop on a blade of grass which reflects a huge oak tree nearby, highlights the task a short story performs. Accordingly, even though short story is a small one, like a dewdrop on a blade of grass, it does a huge task as how the dewdrop reflects a huge oak tree nearby. The third definition in this slide is based on the features a short story consists of. Accordingly, a short story is brief as its name indicates, and it is imaginative with few characters, simple plot, conflict. The suspense in the story leads to its climax, and finally the story reaches its conclusion. The other interesting fact about short story is that it can be read in one sitting. Now, let's identify the important elements of a short story. There are four main elements as plot, setting, characters, and theme. Next, we'll talk about these elements separately in detail. Here in this slide, we'll try to understand plot of a short story. The plot means simply the chain of events or else series of incidents that make up the story. There are 5 elements under plot. Number 1, exposition. Exposition is the introductory portion of the story which is available at the beginning. Here, the characters and the setting are introduced. Number 2, rising action. The rising action normally begins with an inciting incident or a moment that sets your story into action. Here, there are multiple moments of conflict that escalate and create tension as the story moves towards the climax. Number 3, climax. The climax is the peak of tension. This is the point in the story that everything changes or where the main character is forced to make a life-altering decision. Number 4, falling action. After the climax, the story starts moving toward the conclusion. This is where any conflicts that arose as a result of the climax can start being resolved. Number 5, resolution. The resolution is the end of the story where all the loose ends are tied up. Here, the story reaches its happy or tragic ending. Next, let's study another important element of a short story, which is setting. The setting of a story is the context that describes the elements in which a story is taking place, including time, place, and environment. Appropriate setting affects the success of the story, and it helps to create the mood and atmosphere of the text. The mood refers to the author's emotional attitude towards the subject matter, while atmosphere refers to the feeling that the setting evokes. Now, let's study the third important element of a short story, that is characters. Any personalities who are involved in the plot of the story are characters. They can be people, animals, or else fantasy characters. The number of characters in the story is also a very important factor. In a short story, the number of characters usually is less than 6. There are 3 types of characters available in short stories. Number 1, protagonist. Protagonist is usually the good guy or hero in the story. This is the main character that we follow. The protagonist strives to solve the conflict. Number 2, antagonist. The antagonist is the bad guy or villain in the story. Antagonist creates conflict for the main character. Number 3, secondary characters. This refers to the other characters who are necessary to move the plot along. Now, let's talk about the theme as an important element of a short story. The theme of a short story is simply its meaning. That is what the author is trying to convey. In other words, it is the central idea of the story. Here, I would like to tell you that a short story is like a curry. The elements of short story which we discussed above are the ingredients that we need to prepare this curry called short story. The successful usage of these ingredients will make the curry a tasty one, while the wrong usage of ingredients will make the curry horrible. Dear students, we have reached the end of today's presentation. I hope that you all got a clear understanding about elements of short stories, and I hope to see you soon with another educational video like this. Thank you very much.